Okay, so this particular lady I was working with had contacted me through YouTube. Of course, I had met her even during other workshops, and she happens to be my colleague, and we've learned certain courses together. So the healing, yes, of course, the healing was going on. What was needed is perhaps a deeper insights. It's not about just removing the problems. It's not about saying no to issues. It's about understanding why do we invite problems in our lives, and what do we gain out of it, and what is the need for that problem. Now, anybody else telling you and giving you guidance or advice would be like a foreign energy. And when the understanding comes, it's amazing because that's something you discover on your own. And that's all right. So let's watch further, and I will interrupt in between and comment as and when needed. Let me see if yeah, we will now share. Meanwhile, any question? Anybody wants to ask any question to begin with? Yes, please. Anyone? No? Okay. So we continue. So,
You can point or you don't have to do anything. And where do you feel this in the body? Head. And in your head where? Okay. And what's happening there? Like it will be throbbing kind of sensation. Throbbing sensation. Okay. And what is throbbing over there? What is pulsating over there? No problem. So just say R5 this pulsation. IR5 this pulsation.
so sometimes, yeah, we generally ask if they say, where do you feel a particular sensation in my head? So what is happening in the head? It is throbbing. So what is throbbing? I don't know. Something is pulsating. So what is pulsating? I don't know. If you don't know what is pulsating, maybe you can start by saying IR5, these pulsations, because not always people do find a precise metaphor, and you have to just manage. Okay, if you get the precise metaphor, good. If you do not, still go with the sensation and do not stop.
IR5 is pulsations. IR5, these pulsations. It's quieter. Quieter. Okay. See, I have nothing to show. I have nothing to show in terms of money or achievements to anyone. Just say it aloud or just say it aloud. Show money, relationship,
I'm using this statement that I have nothing to show in terms of money, achievement, or anything, is because she used that statement. Otherwise, we have no business introducing a new thought in someone's mind.
Yeah. What's the feeling?
The feeling is the failure.
All right. Just say I'm a failure.
I'm a failure.
I'm a failure.
Failure.
I'm a failure.
I'm a failure.
Where do you feel that?
Feeling in the stomach.
In the
Stomach.
stomach. Okay. And where in stomach? What's happening in the stomach?
It's like every time I said that it was cringing.
Cringy. And what is cringing there?
The thought that, it's like it's been such a waste. Like, I've wasted my life.
What is cringing there? Metaphorically. Okay. IR5 is cringing. Continue.
So you have a choice of either working on being failure or feeling of this cringing. I always prefer working with body sensations because it always helps.
IR5.
And besides, you don't get into unnecessary stories because these kind of cases have numerous stories, numerous, and they could be never ending. And you can get so lost in the stories that you lose the focus eventually.
IR. To say I have wasted my life.
I wasted. I wasted. I wasted.
What's happening is this.
Partially it's not true
Yes.
because behind all the pain, it's people going away and all. I've been able to focus on myself as taking care of other people, pleasing everybody else. I've been able to otherwise what I like and what I don't like. So I feel that maybe it's the whole thing was about focusing on myself. So in a way, it's pretty good. I have been able to do that.
And what have you been able to do?
I've been able to be a little bit more attentive to myself in terms of healing myself, healing all the hurt, the anger, all the disappointments. It's not completely gone, but at least I'm in the process. I have the time when I can do it.
All right. So, as you remember, yesterday she felt very useless. Then she came to the next layer, that is, I have wasted my life. And I chose not to really confront her belief, not to even counter advise, because had I advised her, no, 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 it's not the case, nobody is useless over here, if you're existing, there is a purpose, blah, blah, blah. She would have not really come out with her own resolution. So instead, I gave her back what she already felt. This is the principle of homeopathy, similia similibus curantur. That means you give back what they feel and their own healing energies, or what we call in homeopathy vital force, will work and make sure that uh, if it is erroneous, it will be corrected on its own. So I simply just gave it back to her that I'm useless. Okay, because she said that, not because I observed. She said, I have wasted my time. I've not argued against. I said, okay, please say I have wasted my life. And I started helping her with R5 instead of arguing and bringing her to any logical conclusions. And as she was saying on her own, she says, "No, I haven't wasted my life. I think I've used a better part of that to heal myself. I've taken this opportunity to address, though I haven't healed everything, but yet I'm better off than what I was before." So she's coming to resolution on her own without external interference. I'm just facilitating. I'm doing nothing. I'm just facilitating. I'm just giving back all that she wanted, she was saying. So her own words, I'm just kind of giving back to her and just helping her with revive, recognize, realign, reorient, and reposition. And watch the difference. She's now into a resolution phase to a great extent.
Maybe this time was required for me to do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you got the brilliance on your own. All right. It's not that you have wasted time.
Yeah.
You needed the time to heal yourself after going through all that you've gone through. And you've done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So would you still call yourself useless?
I only would say useless when I try to measure it in terms of financially, in terms of a successful relationship, or in terms of a body. Only in those terms. Otherwise, spiritually, as a soul, I feel no, I'm not useless. Because I have been very, very brave and I have taken on this challenge, even though it's tough, but I'm kind of stuck in. I did not try to find an escape route and run away from it.
Awesome. Isn't that great?
Yes, absolutely.
So just say, I R5 my courage. I R5 my courage.
Okay. This is something I usually do not do and have done, and I would like to even admit that. I didn't have to really pep her moods by saying, "Isn't that great?" It's up to her to decide whether it is great, it's not great, it's required, it's not required. Perhaps the motivation was not even needed, but I simply chose to motivate her for some reason. I don't remember what was going on in my mind and why I chose to motivate her in between the session, because we are somewhere suppressing their feelings and their own discovery. No, so let there be minimum external interference.
I R5 my courage.
Could you see from my expression somewhere there was a little impatience coming up? Yeah, so as you are helping others fight their own battle, you're also a human. So as a facilitator, you do have your own internal battle. That am I doing right? Am I, on track? Or is it happening correctly? Or is it going round and round? And sometimes you do feel a little frustrated. You try and mask, but if the client is in a right space and if she or he can see through your eyes, they can see through what you're feeling. And it's not about what clients can see through. It's about you knowing yourself through your clients, which is so important for your own personal evolution.
R5 my courage. I R5 my courage. Yeah.
So the thought was that, what I've been able to achieve is very, very not many people.
Yes.
It's easy to make money. It's easy to all that. It's not comparatively it's easier, but what I have taken on, what I have done with myself is amazing.
Beautiful. Isn't it?
Yes.
Awesome. Now say I'm useless.
This. 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 Not true.
Not true? Awesome.
On her own, for the first time, she said it's not true, because now she has discovered that she's not being useless. She's done a lot for herself. She's done a lot for her family as well.
Say, I haven't achieved anything.
I haven't achieved.
I have wasted my life.
I wasted. I have wasted. I have wasted. And that's coming as two parts, true, part not true. A good part of it is not true.
Yeah. So it's not fully true.
It's not.
So where is the feeling of still remaining feeling about?
So she doesn't now agree fully that I've wasted my life and, I've been useless. So it's a partially true, partially not true. So now we've got to figure out in which way it is not true. So help her
Wasting your
discover
life.
that.
When I sometimes tend to spend a lot of time on the social media or playing games on the mobile, or just sometimes, some days, just whiling away the time watching television, not doing anything concrete.
Concrete.
And but sometimes I feel that also is necessary because maybe the mind is processing too much. I feel sometimes, and it's okay to take that break, and I don't have to be working 24/7.
Correct.
So, in which way were you useless or wasted your life? So, going through the social media and stuff like that. But now she is in that space where she wants to resolve. So, on her own, now she's coming with a conclusion that, well, it was needed. That break is needed. So, on her own, she's now resolving whatever she's feeling.
Right. Okay. So where is the guilt of wasting some time, if any, if there is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's important again because she said, no, I haven't wasted time. And then again, if you say, where is the guilt of wasting your time? But she's already told you, I'm not now feeling guilty. However, somewhere from her voice, I probably felt that she's not completely over guilt. There's one thing that you need to do is help people discover the guilt. If there is one causative factor, which is the root cause of several individual issues in life, is that of guilt. Because every time you feel guilty about small or little stories, and it could be trivial, most conscientious people have, they don't have to kill somebody or rob somebody or do a criminal activity to feel guilty. They would feel guilty about not saying thank you, or they would feel guilty about not being on time. They would feel guilty about any stupid things. I'm saying stupid because when you actually resolve, you realize how stupid was that. However, before you realize, you've already punished yourself in several ways. And if you can really help somebody, just help somebody reduce the burden of guilt. And the guilt could be because of any factor. So I wanted to just be very sure that she's totally free of her guilt of wasting her time. Let's see what happens.
it's only about not being financially independent and having to depend on people for their support.
Say I'm financially dependent.
Financially.
So the real guilt was that I'm not financially independent. So the guilt of being financially dependent on someone. Here, if you note, I haven't gone into the story, whom are you dependent and who's sorting it out and who's helping. We could. However, there is a possibility of getting distracted and deviated.
Where do you feel it?
More than being financially dependent, it's actually how would I say it? It feels like it's I feel like a beggar.
Yeah.
I feel like a beggar where I'm looking for people to be able to asking for that financial support.
Yeah. So let's. Is there a particular body part where which feels like a beggar?
I'm getting my eyes.
Eyes.
I'm getting my eyes there.
Yeah. What is there in your eyes?
It's like a feeling of longing.
Longing for?
Longing for support, all that.
And what kind of people long for support and love, according to you?
People who are weak.
And where do you feel the weakness?
Okay. This is important. So, where are you feeling this? In my eyes. So, what do you feel? Like a longing. So, she didn't give me the metaphor that I'm looking out for. Okay. Now, I just have to keep seeing what are the associations. So, okay, so beggar, what kind of people who beg? So, those who are long, where do you feel like a beggar? Or which part of the body feels more like a beggar? So, eyes, longing. Then there's a feeling of weak. So weak people have the longing for something or some people. So essentially, the core issue is weakness. So we have gone several layers down, saving a lot of time.
In my legs.
Okay.
So from eyes, we went
and
to
how
legs.
do you feel the weakness?
I don't find it's like there's no stability when I'm walking. I feel that I'm going to fall.
Okay. All right. So just say I R5, weakness in my legs. Breathe in and breathe out. I R5, weakness in my leg.
Again, I did not get the kind of metaphor I was looking out for. But anyway, you can't always keep waiting and getting distracted about that. So whatever she says, okay, fine, continue with that and wait for the better times. Can you see I'm feeling a little yawning?
Weakness in my legs.
And yawning, when you as a facilitator starts yawning, either you're healing simultaneously or you're picking up the healing of other person. Probably weakness would be a very close core issue, or sense of weakness would be very closer to her core. And that's where we are reaching and resolving.
There are 5 weakness in my legs. I have 5 weakness in my legs. I have 5 weakness in my leg. I have 5 weakness.
It's very interesting. I do have animal sounds endorsements. When we do healing, like I had a friend of mine, she had African parrots. And as and when we would work with each other, even on phone early in the morning, when the healing is getting over or when we are about to complete or come to a very major milestone or the core issue, we would have some animals sounds or bird sounds. So the birds would make some particular call as if they would know, "Yay, you got it!" And that was not once, twice, several times I've heard those sounds. In fact, they would almost endorse that, "Yeah, you're going on right track. You've hit it right. Carry on. You're doing amazing." So, at a very crucial juncture, the birds would start calling. Here you can hear the dogs barking. I'm not saying the dogs are barking and picking up, but if you especially have pets, they're very particular about your energy. As you heal, they show a certain set of behaviors, and just keep marking that. It's amazing the way it unfolds.
In my legs. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, it feels like I have this fear that I might not be able to walk. I would like to become so weak, unable to walk.
All right. And that is that fear?
And that kind of makes you feel horrible, because I've been more dependent on, right now at least physically, I'm not dependent on anybody. So that makes me dependent.
Okay. And there is a fear of dependency in you?
So, weakness is somewhere closer to her core issue, but there was an unresolved association. Is weakness is equal to dependency. And more than weakness, she hated the dependency. She was already financially dependent, and she wouldn't like to be physically dependent. And that's a fear a lot of middle-aged and older aged people have. Doesn't matter, men, women, and whatever socioeconomic background. Most people apparently would hate to be dependent, especially physically dependent, and they dread so much. So it's very important to address this.
Somewhere I used to dislike this feeling of dependency in my mother. I used to get very angry with upset. Yeah? When I would sense that feeling of dependency in her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another quality where I respect her.
Mm-hmm.
In some way, I feel that they need.
Yeah. So I R5, my guilt of judging my mother.
Another facet that you need to keep in mind is is a guilt or regret of judging others. Especially when you judge others, you often invite similar experience in your life. So if she judged her mother for being dependent, she would also invite that experience of being dependent in her life. And there are so many such things which we have judged others, parents, children, neighbors, friends, relatives. And when it comes to us, that's when we realize what is it to go through what others have been going through. It's very easy to judge others. It's it requires a lot of mm, guts to step into others' shoes and experience what is it. And soul often invite reversal of experience in terms of judgments and in terms of guilt and regrets. So if you feel guilty of hurting others, you may invite experience of getting hurt. If you regret hurting others, you may invite hurts. If you judge others for hurting others, you may invite a situation where, without even wanting to hurt, you may land up hurting others. So, uh, these are the ways so called karmas unfold. And keep watching for those signs and help them out. Help them out with the guilt of judging guilt of hurting or guilt of any kind, and of course the regrets. So work with guilt, regret, and judgments.
IR5, my guilt of judging my mother for being dependent. IR5, my guilt of judging my mother for being dependent. IR5, my guilt, judging my mother for being dependent.
Whatever I judged her for, I hated myself.
Yeah.
And that kind of gets me even angry.
Yeah. We often experience what we judge others.
Yeah.
You know, especially our loved ones. So, IR5, my need to go through what I judge my mother for. IR5, my need to go through all that I judged my mother for. IR5, my need to go through all that I judged my mother for.
So surely made me more empathetic towards, towards everyone, I think. Because somewhere there was a thing about when I was younger, this thing about wanting to be strong. I felt that everybody should be strong. And there was no room for any emotion, any weakness, any dependency. So somewhere that, I guess I picked up this thing about being strong.
Is equal to?
Is equal to, a good human being. You're a good, if you're like a perfect person, and you achieve something. If you're a strong person.
And if you're weak?
Then nobody wants to be around you. Then you're a failure. You'll be left alone. Nobody wants to be the person who's weak.
Like?
Okay, so you see, what would be what is the story unfolding? Anyone would like to talk? Anyone, just unmute. It's interesting what she's saying. Did you hear the last dialogue? If you're strong, you can achieve anything. And if you're weak, then nobody wants to be around you. What does that say? No? Let me get my earphone. Just a sec. Huh?
Can I go?
Yeah?
I think it's a feeling of a low self-esteem.
Yeah, sorry.
The person has.
Huh?
It's a feeling of low self-esteem that the person has about themselves.
Yeah, a feeling of low self-esteem. So here would be very interesting because probably mother she saw as somebody who's weak and dependent, and maybe father, maybe I'm just presuming because several times you see women as weak and father as strong, or father figure as strong personality. Okay, let's see what she says further.
Who was there in your life who was weak, left alone, failure, nobody wanted to be around?
My brother, he was suffering from muscular dystrophy. And he didn't have any friends.
Okay.
Associations. Those who know muscular dystrophy, it's a genetic disorder. The muscles become weak and weak, so weak that you eventually stop walking, and then you get bedridden, and the muscles become so weak that you can't even breathe. You're practically isolated. You can't cope up with the society and friends and all. And generally, this starts around teenage, and the lifespan doesn't exceed beyond 24, 25, 30 years, I think. Um, and she's seen her brother going through muscular dystrophy. So, and it's a worse kind of weakness at the muscle level, the physical level. And this weakness is associated with isolation, and, and isolation with probably a loneliness. Let's see what she's saying.
So it was just us.
Okay.
But of course, he also died early. He died at
He died when he was?
14.
How old were you?
I was just a year older than him.
So she saw her brother dying early, and it's kind of painful death to even witness.
Okay. Let's first address.
And that time I felt that I had to be strong for my mother.
Yes.
Because she really loved him.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that she wouldn't survive if he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But then she did. And that's when I learned that nobody is indispensable. Life goes on.
Mm.
Then when my father passed away, I had to be strong for my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And when my mother passed away, I had to be strong for myself.
Mm.
The need to be strong. And the moment she says the need to be strong, perhaps she did not feel it that way. And she felt that I had to be strong for others, let's see.
So I always have had to be strong. I wasn't strong in that I had.
You were not
And that's one
strong?
of
You said you were not strong?
if a man is not strong, then it's like then you're okay.
Okay. The failure is
For the longest
associated with
time
weakness.
that I did not allow myself to feel any emotion.
So
And
those, and I think?
I picked this up from my grandmother, from my daddy,
Mm-hmm.
who said that we should not show our emotions, basically.
What
So
kind of?
whatever it is, keep it in yourself. Maybe if you're strong, that
So what kind of people showed?
people cannot hurt you.
Okay. So what happens when you show emotions?
The other person can take advantage. If you're too vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what happened in my second marriage also.
Mm-hmm.
Where I opened myself up completely about my childhood, about my life.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband would keep throwing it at me
Mm-hmm.
that you have abandonment issue, you have this issue, that issue, making me out to be a horrible person, a weak person. And at that time, I remember saying to myself that only if I had not told him all this, he would not even be.
So she has been programmed by her grandmother that it's not good to be vulnerable, because if you're vulnerable and if you expose your vulnerability, people can take advantage. And that's what she proved during her second marriage. Uh, so childhood taught her to portray a brave front, even if you did not feel it that way. And somewhere she stepped out of it and tried experiencing vulnerability and managed to be vulnerable and expose that vulnerability. She suffered too, not because she was vulnerable, because she believed that if you remain vulnerable, you get taken advantage of. Hmm. Okay. So let's first archive grandmother's belief. You know, sometimes it's not even your beliefs.
Yes.
You borrow it. So I archive my borrowed beliefs from my grandmother. I archive my borrowed beliefs from my grandmother. I archive my borrowed beliefs from my grandmother. I archive my borrowed beliefs from my grandmother.
Yeah, this thing about, I don't have to buy copies.
Right. Yeah. I archive my association of vulnerability with weakness. Association of vulnerability. So we have found the core issue, that is weakness. So weakness with loneliness, weakness with uselessness, weakness with vulnerability. So these are the petals that we are still dealing with, even though we have come closer to weakness, right? Weakness. A little yawn. Can you see that impatient breath? Either I'm healing something, or perhaps I'm getting impatient, say, what's happening? Yeah, jaldi karo. You know, like when you know the opposite person is almost there and taking little time. But what we don't realize is this woman could have gone through so much in life, seeing her young brother die, father dying, mother dying, alone, 2 divorces. It's not easy to go through all that, right? I archive my association of vulnerability with weakness. Yes, Annou. Yeah. What's happening?
Yeah, the thing about, just because he did it does not mean that everybody else will do it.
Awesome. The resolution came on its own. Okay. This advice we could have given her anyway, right in the beginning. But our advisors are foreign energies. So please do not give logical advice. If they needed, they would have got it long time back. It wouldn't work. Let the resolution come from within. You keep bouncing back their own thoughts and feelings, and they resolve.
It's okay to do that.
It's okay to be vulnerable. Yes. Okay.
And it's okay, because it's only now that I am being vulnerable, and that's how I'm going to be able to work with it and heal these issues.
Right. Say I'm vulnerable. This is to ensure that there is no additional emotional charge related to vulnerability. Though she said it's okay to be vulnerable, we need to just test it out and make sure that it's done. Otherwise, just to avoid feeling vulnerable, she would put on a facade of strength, and she would put on the whole wall. And the whole world would think she's so strong, so nobody would find a need to reach out to her. And that will make her feel internally so weak once again. So the cycle will continue.
Always kept saying her strong.
Absolutely. You know something?
So-
Only strong people can afford to be vulnerable. Weak people actually create a facade of several layers around them. They never expose their vulnerability. I mean, of course, this is what I believe. It's not a truth always, but this is what I've observed.
Why did I say that? Because generally it is against me to give any gyan during the sessions, but somehow this gyan came up. Maybe I found appropriate at that time. However, let the gyan come from within. We need to give the space to them to give this gyan. If you want to give gyan, give it at the end. Interrupting like this in between is not really recommended, and that's what I did. And then I wanted to cover it up and say, oh, this is what I believe. You don't have to really agree, but I've already added my wisdom, which was not really needed at that juncture.
Yeah. So I R5, my inner strength.
It's a pride.
Right. Yes.
It's a sense of pride, that.
Pride.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Strong.
And what is your true strength?
My true strength,
Mm.
the ability to be able to stand up against all the odds.
Okay.
Can you imagine if you believe that the true strength is the ability to stand up against all odds? So every time you want to feel strong, every time you feel weak, you want to feel strong. And every time you want to feel strong, you need to prove that you have this ability to stand up against all odds. And if you have to prove that, you need all odds. No wonder there are so many odds.
I might feel weak
Mm-hmm.
for the moment, but then
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to kind of give it another chance and try it.
Awesome. So let's do that again. I R5, my ability to stand up against all odds. You know what you're doing?
Yeah.
You have association of strength with ability to stand up against all odds. So every time you even get a hint of weakness, you look for strength. And when you look for strength, because strength is the ability to stand up against.
This association I'm highlighting after having done enough work. If you realize there was a lot of time lapse, which was like a fast forward.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
Weak people actually create a facade of. Every time you even get
To myself that I am.
yes. And just to prove that, you keep inviting all odds.
Okay, so I'm
And
just
you've
trying to show
invited
you.
enough.
Yes, absolutely. Done.
So let's work with that. IR5, my association of strength with odds. I R5, my unhealthy association.
At times when you add this word stupid or unhealthy, etc., subconscious mind works overtime to clear these associations, and it happens faster. So it's kind of a fast forward technique that I use, but be very careful, because sometimes people do feel hurt when you use these words, or they bite and it can be adverse for them.
Or rather, I R5, my unfavorable association.
That is better.
Would that sound right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfavorable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I said
think that's
unhealthy and
better.
I didn't feel the
I
energy right.
R5, my unfavorable association.
So we made it unfavorable. That was easy.
Yeah.
I don't have to prove that I'm strong.
Yes. Mhm. Awesome.
Do you realize I'm giving her enough gap? Not because I needed to digest. I wanted her to digest that she does not have to prove that she's strong. Nobody has to prove that she's strong, because that game can take a toll on your life. It's not needed.
You don't have to prove.
No.
No.
Not anymore.
Why?
There's no.
Can you see the sense of victory on my face? Because somewhere, ever since I met her, or ever since I interacted, I knew this is where we are going. And it's interesting when you do a lot of such uh, sessions, you'll be able to see your clients or your subjects, and then you would know exactly what they're going to go towards, where it is heading. And almost as if you know the light at the end of the tunnel, it's just a matter of time where they would walk till the end of the tunnel and see the light for themselves, because you've already been there, you've already seen on the other side. And when they hit it, there's a sense of victory and joy that, okay, finally they made it. Oh my God,
Isn't it? There's nothing that I'm going to gain by proving it. And who do I have to prove it to?
Yes.
That's the story. Whom do you have to prove it to?
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling empowered. I'm feeling, like a lot of lightness, because this thing about having to prove all the time that I'm strong to myself was a huge. It's a lot of burden.
Yes.
And it's okay. There are moments I'm going to be weak. There are moments I'm going to be vulnerable. There are moments I'm going to be. It's okay.
Okay.
I don't. It doesn't mean that I'm a failure if I'm weak.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be weak. It's okay to be strong. It's okay. Anything.
Beautiful, Annou. Beautiful. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Annou, there are so many people like you. When they'll watch your video, they will feel so empowered because they'll be able to help themselves. There's so much to learn from this session.
Yes.
So, is it okay to post this video?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much. I know this is not an end. If you wish, we can explore further. First, just digest this much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the best.
Definitely. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye. God bless.
Sorry for this jar. Okay, over to you guys. The video is over.
I have a question. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, certainly.
Okay. Because there's one statement you made where you said that, we should not judge people. And it's very easy to judge others and we don't know what they're going through. And so keeping that in mind, so I was thinking, okay, going forward, because I have a habit of judging each and every one. And so going forward, I would try to R5 that particular nature or the statement that I'm thinking about the other person. But as a human being, is it possible that, we don't judge people?
As a human being, may not be possible, but as an evolved human being, yes. So R5 is not about doing therapy on each other. It's about understanding yourself, raising your consciousness. And when you start raising your consciousness, you have nothing but compassion for all that people are going through. It's like, a little child trying to walk and falls down. You don't judge them for not being efficient enough. You know that's how they will walk. When kitten fight with each other, you don't judge them for fighting with each other. That's how they grow. So as your consciousness expands, you understand why people behave the way they behave, and you only have compassion, not even sympathy, just compassion. That's how it is. You have so much of patience and you can understand, okay, that's how they go. So why judge them?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other question? We have 1 minute more.
Ma'am, this is Vidya here.
Hi, Vidya.
I just have I just want to clear something out. Like,
Right.
if we are ill or if we have any body pain on any part of the body,
Yes.
does it mean that that has something to relate with our emotions or negativity or something like that?
Okay. So most of the pains are the result of some deviation in your thoughts, which needs to be corrected. Now, some of the pains could be because of the chronic or structural changes like tumors or accidents or osteoarthritis, or there are spikes in the bones and stuff like that. Now, these pains may or may not go with the change in the thought, but there are some fleeting pains. You get a pain in the shoulder and you try and work it out, and then you have it in the abdomen, and then again in the knee. So those floating pains are actually the communication of your subconscious mind to you through your body. So do pay
Mhm.
attention to them. Uh, and even if they are structural changes, we've often correlated things like even accident or a pinprick reminds you about and demonstrates
Mhm.
an unpleasant thought or not required thought, I would say, which is deviation from the norm. Yeah, you do pay attention.
Okay.
Yeah, the pains are the biggest teachers. In fact, a lot of my personal growth has happened by understanding pains. Why we haven't really paid attention to the pains, because there hasn't been a school or a curriculum which would actually teach you the exact and precise communication through your pain. So do pay attention, because your pains are the ways of telling you, hey, come on, get back on track. You're not thinking right.
Okay. So does that mean that even if we are having fever or something, like cold and cough, so that also?
Everything is your extension and projection. So yeah, it gets a little overwhelming for the beginners, but eventually smallest things like this, a sneeze and a cold and cough, or little little ill health here and there will tell you, oh, again, you deviated. Of course, you do keep
Oh,
diet
okay.
factors in mind, but most of the time, even beyond diet factors, is your story with thoughts, because a lot of malnourished people can lead fairly healthy life, and a lot of people from fairly good nutritional background can go through a lot of health issues. That says that you have to really address your thoughts eventually.
Fine. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Bye. Thank you, Vidya. All right, guys. So see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. This recording may take a day for me to post, because it has got uh, recorded on my system. So it will take a while for me to upload again. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aatmn.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Bye bye.
Thank
You.
you.